Hello and welcome to the 2025 NCAA Division I Field Hockey Selection Show. I'm Will Haskett. Northwestern capped off a nearly perfect season last year, cruising 5-0 in a championship to win the program's second national title. A lot of storied programs return to the bracket this season, with 18 teams set to be announced in pursuit of a spot in the championship game coming up November 23rd in Durham, North Carolina. And somebody who is very curious to see who plays who and helping me out as my analyst tonight is Leah Secondo, who has been busy tonight across all divisions of NCAA field hockey. Now comes Division I, where we have seen a lot more parity, Leah, it feels like the last couple of years in this bracket. Very exciting tonight to see where everybody slots in.
It is, and we've seen great parity across the country this year. Watching all the scores every single weekend, you think you might know who will win, and then all of a sudden things just go awry and go down a whole different path. So the play has been awesome. It's been spectacular right on down to today's final championship games.
Big picture, you've been around this sport for a long time. Where's the health of Division I field hockey right now? Because it feels like it's just getting deeper and deeper every year.
Yeah, and I think a little bit that has to go with, there were some good things about COVID. The one good thing that I know is that a lot of these players were able to take an extra year, get their mental health right, get that extra year deep in their education, right? And that's changed, I think, the landscape a little bit of the game, with some players utilizing that advantage to play one more year, maybe at a different institution, schools that maybe we weren't thinking about on the path of the NCAA championship, and it's helped those squads.
Yeah, we'll see whose path is maybe in the best position to try and win a championship here in 2025. This single elimination bracket features 10 teams that are in automatic qualifying spots via conference titles, leaving just 8 precious at-large selections. The bracket also has 2 opening round games, which arrive very quickly on this coming Wednesday before we can test the first and second rounds next weekend. Let's dive right into the bracket, shall we? Top overall seed, no surprise here, it belongs to North Carolina, the 10-time national champions, looking poised to perhaps win it all again this season. Offense, always the hallmark of this program, paced the ACC in goals, ranks top 3 in the country entering this weekend. Riley Heck, one of those goal scorers, all-tournament performer a season ago, one of 3 Tar Heels in the top 10 in conference in goals per game. 4-1 win over Virginia in the ACC championship. Just another one of those statement wins this year for the Tar Heels to get the #1 overall seed. They await the winner of our first opening round game, headlined by Drexel, which beat top-seeded Monmouth to nab the CAA title and propel the Dragons to their first appearance in this tournament since 2012, where they will play St. Joseph's. If you're a redshirt senior on this Hawks roster, think about what Leah was talking about from an experience standpoint. You've never known a world without a conference title. The Hawks beating top-seeded Richmond to win the A-10 for a 5th consecutive season. The 2-0 win came after surviving overtime in the semifinals just to give them a shot at the title. Now the question is, can they make it all the way back to the championship game after their incredibly magical run came 1 win away a season ago? Duke dancing yet again, 3rd straight NCAA berth for a program that has 4 national runner-up finishes without that elusive title. And while the Blue Devils couldn't solve North Carolina in the ACC semis, an ACC season-high 7 goals in the quarterfinals shows that this offense is ready to play in the postseason. And that offense looks to strike early against Iowa, which nabs an at-large. The 1986 national champs missed the field a year ago, but left no doubt down the stretch this year, closing with 4 straight wins in the regular season to build momentum heading into the postseason. Junior Dion Van Alsum was named first team All-Big Ten, earning all-conference honors for a 3rd straight season. All right, Leah, no real surprise that North Carolina slides into that #1 spot, but a really potential juicy second rounder, I should say first rounder, if St. Joseph's were to get through, because we know what happened last year in this bracket.
Yeah, build by build. And for Hannah Prince, she has done a great job. This is her 4th season, so this is her real recruiting class, right? They're hungry. I visited with them early on before the season started, and you can feel the success from last year's carryover. They've worked real hard, but they're going to run into this Drexel squad, the CAA champion. Now, they've got 13 different scorers on that team, so a lot of different offense to mix in. That's going to be a tough play-in game to get to Carolina. Obviously, Carolina hosting. It's a tremendous venue at Karen Shelton Stadium. looming into that potential matchup right between Iowa and Duke. And I like to circle that one just a little bit because Duke has one of the top recruiting classes in the country coming into the season from Max. They have developed very nicely, worked hard, and working solid with the veterans like Elena McVeigh. Iowa, at the same token, they too have shown great growth, really impressed in their late run, runners up in the Big Ten. That's going to be a fun first round matchup as well.
No doubt about that one. All right. Rounding out the top half of the bracket as we get to the next page, it gets even tougher because Northwestern is next. The reigning national champions have won 2 of the last 4 titles, hope to lean on experience to win title number 3. The shutout in the finals last year, goals are always hard to come by against the Wildcats again this season, fresh off another Big Ten title earlier today. They face a team that will be jumping for joy to hear its name right now. Hello to Yale. Make it 3 Ivy League schools in the field this year as the Bulldogs hear their name called for the first time. 12 wins this season, 3rd most in program history. They made the Ivy League tournament for the first time as well. The firsts keep coming, earning a spot in this field. And the final matchup on this side features MAC champ Miami, Ohio. Make it 8 straight MAC titles punched for the Red Hawks in 2025. Miami had lost just once in conference in the regular season. That came against UMass. Got the best of the Minutewomen when it mattered most. Lucia Ventos broke a 1-1 tie in the second overtime to propel the Red Hawks to the championship. Also the 8th straight win of the season. It earns them a trip to host Virginia. This season has felt like a collision course with North Carolina. First in the ACC championship, and now the question will it be in a national semifinal? The Cavaliers have never made the national championship game in 28 previous trips to this bracket, but they sport the ACC's top defense, surrendering less than a goal per game with an almost impenetrable wall in goal. So there you see, you get the reigning champions. You've got Virginia, who wants a little bit more ACC love. Leah, that just the top half of this bracket alone is a heavy-hitting load.
Well, I like the two former Olympians in Tracy Fuchs and Melissa Gonzalez going against each other. And congratulations to Yale. Coach Gonzalez has come in 2 consecutive years now above 500, playing that tough non-conference schedule and getting that automatic bid. But that's going to be a tough road going through the reigning national champion in Northwestern. In Miami, Ohio, how about Coach Puzo? He's won. Will be his 9th consecutive trip taking one of his teams to the NCAAs. Only 9 other coaches have done that. Some legendary names in that group, including Pam Hickson.
To the bottom half of the bracket now, the 3 seed belongs to Harvard. History already been made for the Crimson this season, completing the first undefeated regular season in Ivy League history thanks to the 2nd best defense in the nation. Linda Burher is in goal, her .792 save percentage ranking top 10 in the country. First time in Harvard history with 3 consecutive NCAA berths, but they enter off the sting of not being able to capture that Ivy League postseason crown. New Hampshire heads to Boston. The 1986 national runner-ups return to the tournament for the first time since 2013 thanks to a thrilling win in the America East Championship. It took 2 overtimes to get it done in that one. Nicole Pulakis deflected in the only goal of the entire championship game to catapult the Wildcats into the NCAA tournament. She was named tournament MVP. She scored twice in the semifinals as well. Welcome back to Wake Forest, the 3-time national champions returning with the top goal scorer in the ACC. It's Mia Schoenbeck, who averages 1.21 goals this season. She scored 9 times in the team's last 5 games entering this NCAA tournament. And they start with UConn, grabbing an at-large, a valiant effort earlier today for the Huskies, who couldn't quite dethrone Liberty from the top spot in the Big East. But UConn showing poise and power, securing an at-large selection to keep the season alive. UConn, 5-time national champions, making their 34th overall appearance in this NCAA tournament. So there's a lot of history there, Leah, of those 4 teams, and a lot of them rising this year, sort of in this crescendo to get to maybe their best action of the season at this point in time.
I like your old school reference too about New Hampshire going back into the mid 80s, and what a great America East final between New Hampshire and BU. But Harvard, you have to applaud them. Runners up in the Ivy, but they got it done. Outscoring opponents this year, 53-12. They've got 3 players in double figures, very dangerous, very solid defensive team. And as you pointed out, last Final Four in 2021. I like the Wake UConn matchup as well. Wake is a team little bit of sour taste at the ACCs for them. Worked really hard, improved their win total by 8 a year ago. Mia Montag, Mia Schoenbach, two of the best in the business at what they do. They can get that game opened up by their long throws downfield to open up their offense, and that will bode well with a solid matchup against the UConn Huskies.
And we mentioned UConn losing a tight one earlier today in that Big East Championship. A great transition to our final page and the final 5 teams to unveil, because the Big East champion is next. That's Liberty, top team all year in the conference in both goals scored and goals allowed. 2021 national runner-ups looking for another run to the final game of the season. Fresh off a Big East win earlier today, it was Luke Humbrink who scored the game winner to capture the automatic berth. And they will play Syracuse in the opener. Shootout loss to Virginia in the ACC semifinals. Another near miss for a program that wondered maybe at times if the resume would be good enough. It is. 19th NCAA tournament berth for the program. This is the 10-year anniversary of Syracuse's lone national championship. All right, our final opening round matchup featuring 2 conference champions. It starts with Fairfield, the Stags, winning back-to-back Northeast Conference crowns, becoming the first program to do so since 2012. They also did it in dominating fashion, winning 3-0 in the championship, 2-0 in the semifinals. Fairfield has won 13 of its last 14 coming in, outscoring opponents 61-13 in that span. Boston still celebrating its birth, the Patriot League AQ. The Terriers were the 4 seed in that tournament. The 4 seed hadn't won a Patriot League title since 2001. It took an MVP hat trick from Caroline O'Brien to get it done. She's the first player in league history with a hat trick in the championship game. And the winner of that one gets a date with second-seeded Princeton. The 2012 national champs returned for a 27th time. Sent a bit of a message earlier today. Beth Yeager, who was second this season in points per game in the Ivy League with almost 2 per game, scored the game winner this afternoon to take down previously unbeaten Harvard to capture the Ivy League title. She actually missed a penalty just 2 minutes before getting another crack at it, netted that game winner, and was named the most outstanding player. So Leah, Princeton, by virtue of that Ivy League win, kind of hops Harvard on the seed line and gets rewarded with a 2 seed here to round out the field.
That's all right. Makes you a little bit more hungry, right? Beth Yeager, an Olympian. You expected her to take the team on her back. Was hampered a little bit earlier in the season with an injury, but she's back. They're on a 12-game win streak. It'll be fun. Boston University, you got to give a shout out to Sally Starr, another legendary coach, 13 American East titles now. And for Sally and her squad making their 15th NCAA appearance. So that's a lot of fun if they can get through the Stags, but they have a tough one ahead of them with that bye for the Tigers just waiting for them in that second round.
No doubt about it. Okay, so we've got all 18 teams now in this bracket. Leah, and we knew that the conference championships would probably shake things up a little bit. We saw that with kind of where the seeds fell and maybe where some of the paths were. Anything that stands out to you now as you see the path for what the top teams are going to have to face to try and win a national championship?
Well, I think it's going to be really fun for Northwestern, and I'm looking at where Northwestern is and where UNC is and where Princeton and Harvard. I like what the committee did, doing their best, trying to kind of separate everybody, but making some really interesting, fun first-round matches. The teams did it themselves, though, right? You know, they worked hard to get here. It really did come down to this final day, much in the way the regular season came down for a lot of these conferences, trying to just put together the seedings. I think it's wide open. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a real challenge to find out who the final 4 teams will be in Durham on the 21st.
Well, Leah, our hard work is done. The committee's hard work is done. Now the hard work is left up to the players. We get to be the fans to get to watch. Yes. I know you're going to have a busy couple of weeks as well. Enjoy all the action. Thanks for all your time tonight.
Thank you, Will.
There you have it. All 18 teams still alive in pursuit of a national championship. For 4 of those teams, the prep begins in earnest with those matchups coming up on Wednesday. The first round providing a full slate of games on Friday. The national semifinals and final will be contested on Williams Field in Durham, North Carolina, November 21st and 23rd. All early round games will stream on ESPN+, with the semifinals and finals live on ESPNU. Be sure to also track the action right here on NCAA.com throughout the championship pursuit. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. For Leah Secondo, I'm Will Haskett. Congratulations and best of luck to all of the student athletes competing in this year's championship.
Class, today we're talking NCAA championships and life lessons. Schoolwork got you stressed, feeling overwhelmed. Need a place to unleash a quick, hearty yell? Behold. Join thousands of screaming fans for a heart-pounding in-person experience you have to see to believe. NCAA championships. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Visit ncaa.com/tickets.
Professor, who are you talking to?